So the truck's telling me I need a parked regen, and this is what I was kind of afraid of. When I hit the button, watch, nothing happens. I'm holding in the button, nothing happens. Well, my fear was kind of true. Came true, I guess. The truck will not go into a parked regen. There is a dealership about 60 miles north of where I am. There is a Love's Speedco 17 miles away from where I am. The dealership is closed. It opens at 6 a.m. It's north on Highway 81, about 60 miles. The Speedco is closed, or mechanic doesn't come in until 5. They only have a tire guy there right now. But they do forced regens. If I had my OTR performance tool, I could do a forced regen, but I don't have it because it's in the International. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do after I'm unloaded here. I shut the truck off right now because it hasn't put me into D-rate yet, and I think my best bet is to head the 17 miles to the Love's. Yeah, I think that's my best bet. So, stay tuned! Well, there's the Mack dealership behind me. I am at the Pilot in Hagerstown. It says the dealership online opens at 6 o'clock. It's currently 3:30 a.m. I need to get some sleep, man. I'm freaking tired. So I think I'm going to climb in the bunk, sleep until, I don't know, 6:05, and then go and check in there and see if they can get my truck in. The problem that I'm having is a check engine light comes on. I keep getting an alarm for DPF system failure, service immediately, and then my parked regen comes on, but it won't engage. If I shut the truck off and turn it back on and hit it, it will engage, build up to like 1100 RPMs, and sit there for like 2 seconds, and then shuts back down. So I don't know if I have a bad turbo actuator or a bad 7th injector, or who the hell knows. It could be anything. So I'm gonna go get some sleep. So here is my 7th injector. I think I'm gonna try and do this myself and try and clean my 7th injector and see if that helps. So what I'm doing right now is taking off the fuel line that's connected to the 7th injector using a 14mm wrench. Okay, I just got the fuel line off. Now I'm going to take off. There's a bolt right here. There's a bolt in the both sides, right there and right there. I'm going to take those off next. So I am getting the bolts loose. I've been very careful. I'm using an 8mm drive to loosen these bolts and get the 7th injector out. So I did get the 2 bolts out. Well, look at my hands. I took out the 7th injector, cleaned it, put it back in, started the truck, and let the temperatures build up, and still nothing. It won't go into a parked regen. So the shop behind me is gonna open up in like 5 minutes, so I think that's where I'm going to go. Pretty proud of myself, though. I've shared this. Like, the biggest downside to me becoming an owner-operator from a company driver is nobody ever told me to grab a wrench. I don't know how to do certain things that I'm sure a lot of you know how to do. So, yeah, I watched some videos. I made a decision. Hey, I got the right tools. It required a 14 millimeter wrench and an 8 millimeter drive. I had to remove a pressurized fuel line and 2 nut bolts, and it came right out, and it was filthy. So I cleaned it, put it back in, tightened everything back up, and like I said, fired up the truck, and still nothing. So freaking exhausted though, and I'm drinking a Monster. So yeah, that's where we stand right now, is waiting for this dealership in Hagerstown, Maryland to open up. Well, the road service guy has come and gone, and he didn't charge me anything because he couldn't do anything. He hooked up his computer and could not connect to the ECM of this truck. Mac must have done some sort of software update and they didn't have it, so he stayed here for about 45 minutes trying to hook up his computer to get it to talk to the computer of the truck, and couldn't do it, so he left. The dealership that's literally right behind me is not being helpful at all. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm currently like 150 miles, 160 miles away from where my International is. In the International, I have the OTR Performance tool, which I know I can clear codes, do forced regens and all that on this truck with that tool, because I pay a subscription for it. I paid subscription for that and for Cummins. So I think here, once I get some hours back, I am going to head to the International, get the performance tool, and check out the International, and go from there. I got a feeling it's something more than just needing to do a regen, but I'm going to try and do everything I can so I don't miss a customer load on Friday and Saturday. So we'll see. Stay tuned. When your second truck breaks down in the same state as your first truck, you rent a Toyota Tundra and drive to the first truck that broke down, or that was damaged because you decided to do some East Coast curb stomping. I am gonna drive 180 miles to where the International is, check the International out, grab my diagnostic tool, and then drive another 180 miles back to the truck stop, drop the truck off, take another $20 Uber ride for 5.5 miles, and then hopefully get my truck to do a forced regen. Well, you can't make this up. I don't really curse in my videos. I do on live shows, but this is absolutely just effed up. I didn't even curse. But yeah, look at this. I don't know if you can see all that traffic. I am in a 2-hour backup right now because of crashes on the Bay Bridge here in Maryland. And I have to go across it. Can't make this shit up, man. Like, I'm trying to be proactive, trying to stay positive. Where I'm going closes at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Right now, my GPS says I'll get there at 3:45. This is ending up to be like a 5.5 hour one-way trip. 180 miles. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah, so you want to be an owner-operator, eh? Fuck that. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It's... I say that now because I'm pissed off, but I don't know how much more of this crap I can take, to be honest. Really don't know. Well, I'm at the dealership where the International is, and I got my OTR performance tool to try and do a little diagnostic work on the Mack, which that's back in Hagerstown, about 190 miles away, 185 miles away from where I am now. But there's always a silver lining. Even when I am extremely frustrated, I try and stay positive. I saw the International for the second time in like, I don't know, 70 some days, and it's done. It looks good. They did a great job here at this shop. So now they're going to contact the insurance company and also send me an invoice, and maybe I'll pay the invoice just so I don't have a claim on my insurance. Otherwise, if it's outrageous, you know what? That's why I have insurance. Hopefully I can get that truck back very quickly. If I can't get the Mack running, I am going to drive it to a dealership here, come back here and get the International and keep trailer trucking. We'll see what happens though. I'm going to get out of here now. Well, good evening. I am back at the truck 11.5 hours after I left it. I do have my OTR performance tool. It actually connected to the ECM and was able to read the fault code. What it's saying is my turbo actuator. But upon reading the description of that through this tool, that code can come up when you have a high soot level and aren't able to do a regen. So I am letting the truck warm up right now, and then I'm going to do a forced regen on it, and hopefully that code goes away. If that code does not go away, well, then I'm pretty certain I need a turbo actuator here in the Mack, which would kind of make sense. I mean, this truck has 661,000 miles on it. I bought it with 425,000 miles on it, and it looks like the original turbo actuator on right by the turbo, on the turbo, you know what I mean? And how I can tell that is the discoloring on the paint is the same as like the discoloring on the motor. There have been things like my EGR has been repainted, things like that look fresh. This doesn't look fresh. So we'll see. Hopefully I can do a forced regen and it'll go through the whole regeneration process and burn off all the soot, because my soot level is high right now. That's where we're at right now. At what time is it? 10:15 at night. Well, good morning. I am at Nacarado. I'm sure I'm enunciating that wrong. Shop here right outside of Hagerstown. I brought the truck here this morning because I'm still getting codes. It still asks for a parked regen after I run it for a while. and it's not going into a parked regen. My tool that I have, which I highly recommend, like getting that OTR performance tool. The code I keep getting is like my clutch actuator. So they hooked up to the truck. I brought the truck here. They hooked up to it, and they're getting the same code. So I'm hoping they can get me in today. Otherwise, I'm kind of screwed. I'm trying really hard to get the international released from the international shop about 190 miles away from here. Because then maybe I could go pick that truck up and keep working. But we'll see what happens.